So, remember last week when I said that I didn't think I would have time to read a book a week? Well, guess what? I had time this week to read a book. It took me the whole week to read, and under normal circumstances I think it probably only would have taken me like 2 days, because it was amazing. And that book was Vicious by VE Schwab, or Victoria Schwab if you know her from the Archived, which you should. If you don't, buy it now. Review is linked down there. But, you know, she got a fancy name to match her fancy adult book, so there you go. And I'm gonna give it 5 stars, plus I'm also gonna give it a bonus star because I loved it just that much. Actually, no, I'm gonna give it 2 bonus stars. I am giving it all the stars! Vicious is about these 2 guys, Eli and Victor, who are in college together, and they have decided that they want to figure out how to get superpowers. They call them EOs, extraordinary abilities. And they discover that you can get these EOs if you have died and been resuscitated. You know, like if someone drowns or, you know, has a heart attack or something like that and they're only dead for a few minutes and they bring them back, something like that. And so it goes back and forth between them in college and 10 years later. And when they're in college, it's them, like, you know, experimenting and trying to find out if they can do this. And it's 10 years later after it's worked. And they've become mortal enemies. And it's so good because it goes back and forth between them trying to figure out how to get these EOs and them hating each other and being like, I must kill you. And you're like, why? Why must he kill him? It's really good because as you read, the story kind of meets in the middle. Not really completely in the middle, but kind of. And like, so you find out as it goes, and it kind of goes, oh, and it meets, and it's amazing. Okay, first of all, I loved the way this was written. Victoria, you can write some good books. Like, I love the way she writes. It's wonderful. And I love the things that they say, and I feel like I love the atmosphere of the book. It was like a little dark and gritty but also kind of funny at times and mysterious and intriguing and amazing. I loved this book. I adored this book. And I liked that it was told out of order. I thought that gave it like a really, really good edge. Like it was always intriguing and suspenseful the whole time, whereas if it was told in order, it probably wouldn't have been as suspenseful. And the only thing that I didn't like about this book, the only thing, was when Victor wasn't in it. I was like, I miss Victor! Because I loved Victor. I loved him. And so that's good that I missed him when he wasn't there, because that means she makes good characters. And there's nothing actually legitimately wrong with this book. It's just I was in love with Victor and I wanted him to be there always. Like, I liked all the characters, even the bad characters. Like, they had... Like, I didn't... Like, if they were real people, I wouldn't want to be their friends. I'd be like, wow, you're a bitch and you're a douche. But they were all very well-written characters and they were all very deep and... Like, it's like I knew all of them. So the characters who you don't like, it was easy to hate them. It was like, ugh, die! And then the good characters, I was in love with them. Like, I liked them all, and Sydney was a great character. I loved Sydney. This book was, like, seriously, I think my favorite book that I've read this year so far. And I'm gonna say it's a close second to The Night Circus, which is a big deal, because The Night Circus is, like, has, like, made my life. And I feel like the only reason I want to compare it to The Night Circus is because they're both told out of order, and I love them both. Lots. But they're not the same at all. And if you liked The Night Circus, but you didn't like that it was told out of order, because I know a few people didn't like that, this is different. The Night Circus was out of order and all over the place. Like, it was super, completely out of order. And this is, like, out of order, but in sequence. If that makes sense. It doesn't go all over the place. It's out of order, but in a structured way, so it's not confusing at all. So don't let the out of order thing throw you off, because it's really awesome and it's done really, really well. I feel like I need to mention that I was up until 3 in the morning finishing this. That's how good it was. I think around 1 o'clock in the morning I fell asleep and did one of those things where you wake up and I was like, oh my god, I have to keep reading, I have to finish. Because it was amazing, and also her page breaks have little superhero masks. which I thought was adorable. And I have nothing else to say about it because there's nothing bad about it at all. Nothing bad. All good things. It was just an awesome story. It was fantastic. You just have to read it now, and then you will be like, oh, thank you for making me read this book because it was fantastic. And I'll be like, you're welcome. So thank you, Victoria, for writing this book because it was amazing. 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 I don't know if I'll have time to read a book this week because I feel like I'm going to pick up a new book now. I'm going to be like, this sucks. Vicious is way better. Pfft.